Welcome old family and new family to Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip-hop, all culture. You're listening to your co-host with the most, Brandon White, aka Bushido Garvey, as I'm known in many MC circles.
It's your boy Rob Blow on the tech.
Yes. And for those, again, who don't know, Cypher Scholars is the radio, blogcast, podcast, whatever you want to call us, that is part education, part hip-hop, part culture, or it should be all culture. That's always local, global, and universal. So we have a packed up syllabus today. Right, we're going to be talking about the tragedy that happened in Colorado with the school shooting that happened outside of Denver. Then we're going to be talking about Praz's legal issues right now. Praz from the Fugees, for those who remember. What's up, Miss Garlock? And shout outs to all our Facebook Live listeners. And we're also going to be talking about MCs that are opening up about sexual abuse in their life right now. Not right now, but like they're doing it right now, but when they were kids. So because there's been a lot of that going on, and Common was the most recent MC to come out with that. So we got a packed up syllabus. Let's see if we can get through it.
All right. So first on the syllabus, the Colorado STEM charter school shooting, which is very sad to hear and even witness, man. Yep. And for any of these students to experience and parents to experience as well, the whole community. Earlier this week, I believe on a Wednesday or Tuesday, I believe. I'm not really sure exactly what day, but earlier during this week, there was a shooting that occurred at Colorado STEM charter school. There was reportedly 1 dead, 8 injured. Yep. In the shooting, the student that died, he goes by the name of Kendrick Castillo. Yep. It's sad. It's a sad time.
Yeah, you were right. It happened on Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay.
Yeah, you called it.
All right, thank you. I didn't want to.
No doubt. It's sad, man. Really, really sad. It's one of those things where it's just like, when is this gonna stop? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So far this year, there have been 12 school shootings with injuries or deaths.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then 21 people have been injured or killed, and 2 people have been killed out of those 12 school shootings. Oh, wow. And the year isn't even halfway over, technically, right? Like, because we still have, the summer is the summer, but we still have the fall and the winter.
You have at least like 4 more months
to go through. You know what
school.
I'm saying?
Yep.
It's wild, man. My heart goes out to all the students of that school and their parents in that community. It's just something, and all the experts are saying, like, it's hard to predict how that's gonna go down, right? Like what causes a school shooting? It's hard to predict. They say, like, for example, with this one, they were saying that Devin, I believe it's Devin Erickson. Erickson.
Erickson, yeah.
With this one, they were saying that he's now identifying as a she. She doesn't. They were saying that she was the bully, right? But in previous school shootings, the stereotype is what? That the bullied are the kids who do the school shooting, right? But this one was supposedly a bully, right? Okay. So that's what a lot of the kids were saying. And they're also saying that the kid who lost his life charged at Devin.
He put himself in harm's way to stop the shooter, Mr. Erickson.
Yeah, which is wild, man. And again, that matches with because what's the brother's Kendrick Castillo, right?
Yeah, Kendrick Castillo.
I saw a picture of him, and Peace Catrona P. Appreciate you listening. I saw a picture of him. He's like obviously like a young man of color, or was a young man of color, arguably Latino with a name like Castillo, right?
Yeah.
So there's this whole stereotype of us being violent, right? Us being the ones with guns, but frequently it is young white folks who are doing these school shoot-ups, and frequently, because this has happened a couple times in shootout scenarios with mass shooters, it's been black and brown folks who have been trying to stop them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, several students said that he lunged at the shooter.
So that they're crediting Kendrick Castillo for being a hero, for helping out with thwarting the Mr. Erickson's attempt to, hurt a lot of people at that school. There was also a report about a guard that was a part of the school, right? He actually shot I guess it was reported that he shot towards the officers.
Whoa!
I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I didn't catch that piece. I didn't catch that part. That's wild.
They're still doing probably an investigation on that. Yeah. I mean, this is all new. This is all new information. So
word up.
It looks like they're doing an investigation with that. And
so why was he looking at the cops?
I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. But that's something I did read into, and also saw videos on. CNN reported on this, I believe, and maybe Fox News. I'm not sure, but I believe definitely CNN.
Yeah. The other part that was like a little weird was
that was a little crazy.
There was a parent that tried to essentially like give warning about some of the. She was reporting to whoever the higher ups was that was operating that charter network, or maybe the state. I forget who, but she was reporting to a higher organization about some of the activities that she noticed in terms of there just being like a negative culture, like a stress-based culture, a drug-based culture within the school, stress from like the high performance demands and the drugs or whatever that she was alleging was going on in that school.
Okay.
And like she had reported this several months before all of this, and then this happens. Do you think that that's connected? Like those kind of reports, do you think those are connected to like how a school shooting would happen, or because one could argue like
that could be some type of connection, man. Like, I think that could be some type of connection, even though it's not clear or anything like that. I mean, given the fact that this happened months prior to this incident occurring, so that it looks a little weird. It looks a little weird to even see. You know what I mean?
It does, and
and this woman who called months ahead to talk about these warnings and stuff like that. Right. She was charged or something like that.
Yeah. She's at the STEM school Highlands Ranch, suing her. The school filed a lawsuit denying all those allegations. This is according to NBC News, denying all the allegations and accusing the parent caller of slander and invasion of privacy. Little sus, if you ask me. It's a little suspect. If one parent decides to voice that, why? So I guess where my thinking is like, if she's wrong, why not just say that she's wrong instead of going out your way to sue her?
Maybe it could be the way she put it. Like maybe was it like a threat? And was it in the form of a threat, or what I mean?
I didn't read any information that said that. I'm looking at it right now.
I mean,
it was just accusations made. Yep. So the concerns expressed by this individual are very serious and need to be looked into the extent possible. A letter to the Euchre from the district said, adding a request that may be apprised of your investigation and conclusion. So it doesn't sound like she, was threatening in any way, just with her words or what she had noticed or whatever.
Okay.
So, I've never heard of a parent getting sued for expressing an opinion about what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Even if she's wrong, the fact that she's getting sued.
Yeah, I think there would just be a little. Like I would think it was just like in response to something like that. I would think it would be like an investigation. Like let's hold an investigation, see what's going on.
Right.
Not like some type of arrest or some type of lawsuit going. You know what I mean? In response to that.
No, it's weird, man. And Colorado, like, this is now. At least on my recollection, this is their now second high-profile school shooting. Because
Colorado did have a few school shootings in history.
They have a few school shootings, or just like few mass shootings in general.
Mass shootings in general.
Because they had the Aurora shooting, right?
Yep. Colorado Aurora.
Yep. We had the Dark Knight movie and Columbine, which is kind of like the ground zero almost for like school shootings over the past 20 years. Can you believe Columbine was 20 years ago, B? That's wild, son. That's so wild. But
this Colorado is riddled with the history of school shootings. You know what I mean? It's not. It looks like it's not getting any better or anything like that. It's a sad time. But following this incident that happened on Tuesday, there was a vigil that happened like the next day or the following days after, and there was this where hundreds of students
it was like a prayer vigil.
Yeah, it was a prayer vigil or whatever, and hundreds of students participated, right? Parents was there. Also, politicians were there. Now, while politicians were speaking and stuff like that, the students felt like they were trying to turn the incident into like a political ploy to talk about gun control maybe,
in America,
or anything related to that, NRA, etc. And students in response to that protested against those politicians speaking at that moment by walking out of the vigil in hundreds. You know what I mean?
They straight up walked out.
They walked out. They just walked out. Wow. And you know, probably made some noises as they were walking out, etc. You know what I mean? But then as they were walking out, there were people that apologized about being
like
offensive.
Politicians?
That's on behalf of the politicians. There was a woman that took over the mic and apologized on behalf of the politicians or whoever that spoke, that made the students feel some type of way about what was being said.
That's good.
But after they walked out, they came back in. A lot of these students came back in and they took over the mic and they basically spoke out against why they walked out. They spoke about why they walked out, and they also made a statement to the effect of, we are people, we are not a statement. We will not sit here and
have our experience politicized and any of that. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? So
that's wild.
I mean, so I commend those students for doing that, because they wanted to mourn. They wanted to mourn instead of like. They felt like their mourning was being underplayed or downplayed.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. It wasn't a time to make a statement.
It wasn't
right?
time.
It was a time to, respect the lives, laws,
remember
and
those
reflect
that
on the trauma that
definitely
was incurred in that. That's wild that the politicians were doing that. It doesn't surprise me, but it's wild. But what excites me when I hear that is like, I feel like this new crop of students coming up, this new crop of young folk coming up, like. There's a lot of wisdom. We like to hate, like on what we think the next generation is going to do, right? Like, first of all, the millennials catch a lot of hate, right? Like, we're like older millennials, but the younger millennials catch a lot of hate, and then people under them catch a lot of hate. So, but like, this is just proof to me that everything's going to be all right. Because for them to have that
the teenagers and stuff like that, come on, man,
to like leave and then come back, put adults in their place, and then take it over, like. That takes a lot of that takes a lot of skill, courage, and intelligence. You know what I'm saying? And communication and just togetherness.
That's a unity at its finest, man, right there, man. Word up. One student body working together. You know what I mean? So
word, man. It's crazy. But let's move on. This peace, Rashawn. Appreciate you listening. Peace, Chris Starks. Appreciate you checking us out. Let's move on to this next piece on the syllabus.
All right, so we're talking about Prize next, man.
So Prizewell. The ghetto superstar himself, 1/3 of the Fugees, is now catching charges right now for money laundering. Let me make sure I got the actual charges correct. I believe one of them is laundering. Real quick,
money laundering, definitely.
Let's see, but yeah, he got caught. So matter of fact, I'll tell the story and then I'll give the full list of charges. So he's being accused of being essentially like a middleman. For a out-of-country financier that wanted to finance a presidential run, a 2012 presidential run, and is believed to be Barack Obama's presidential run. Which is an illegal thing. You know how we always talk about Russia trying to meddle with our elections in sneaky ways through social media and other stuff, and possible collusion from Trump. Well, Malaysia, and and this brother named what's his name, Joe Flo. I'm thinking of Fat Joe. Joe flew out of flow, Joe. But Joe Low, which still sounds like a rap name, right? Joe Low is like this kind of seedy, shady financier that tries to influence. Unethically influence the relationships that Malaysia has with other countries. So one way he was doing that was taking his money, or the money potentially, alleged, all this is alleged, potentially from that, there's like a fund. A
fund called 1MDB.
1MDB, that's right, thank you. And giving it to like middlemen in the States, and then those middlemen hold that money and straw, what are they called? Straw, whatever donors.
Straw donors. They'll pass it out to straw donors.
Exactly. Say, you don't know where you got this from. You don't know where you got this from. You don't know where you got this from. And then they all individually give.
Yeah, those straw donors donate within their names.
Yep.
Through their names to these campaigns.
But so it's basically money laundering for like campaign donations.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. International money laundering for campaign donations.
And this 1MDB is connected to a larger scandal.
Yeah,
that might that has some connection with a Goldman Sachs member, a staff member, and like a few other countries. I don't know if it's like 5 to 10 countries.
Yeah,
but like this is a large scandal that is going on right now as we speak.
Yep, and the charges on Prize are conspiracy, false statement, and 2 counts of false entry in record. So, like it kind of throws me off a little bit to see like Prize get caught up in something like this. Like Prize was never like he never got in trouble.
He doesn't get in trouble with the law.
He was always low. Yeah, he was always low. He's the lowest one in the Fugees. But all those dudes are politically. Everybody in the Fugees, to a certain extent, has been politically active, right? Remember, Wyclef Jean tried to run for
president in Haiti.
Got caught up because
No. They said that he couldn't run for presidency because he didn't have. He was a resident there for a long period of time.
Okay, is that what it was?
Yeah, that and probably some other stuff too, maybe.
Right. I think they just didn't want him running for president. You know what I'm saying? Like because he would have actually changed some stuff and. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so like with Prize, I guess it doesn't surprise me that he was politically active behind the scenes, but it kind of just catches me off.
But when I read into this article, he received money from Joe Low. Allegedly, right? In the amount of $21.6 million, man. You know what I mean? So he took this money, right? He gave around $865,000 to 20 straw donors, so that they could donate within their names to these campaigns, and that is illegal. You know what I mean? You can't you can't do anything like that. So Prize actually went to court. He got indicted, right? He went to court. He pleaded not guilty. There's a spokesperson for Mr. Lowe who basically spoke in his name here in the United States, saying that he did not make any contributions directly or indirectly to any U.S. elections or anything of that. Yeah, he's on the run. He can't even be found right now. So
right, my man is gone. So I guess a couple things is popping in my mind where it's just like, if he did do it, one thing I really can't stand, it's like this catch-22. If he did do it, right, then like consequences are what consequences are. But at the same time, man, like I'm really not a fan of being in a system where if black folks do something that everybody else is doing that's technically illegal, that they the ones that get wrapped up and nobody else does. You know what I'm saying?
There's more than, it has to be more than one person.
Come on, son. Like Prizewell, Prize of all people is getting caught up. You know what I'm saying? You mean
but the thing is, the thing is,
a lot of other folks is doing it.
Listen, you gotta understand. Me? Like there's something deeper about this, man. Like Prize and Lowe has a picture together, man. Yeah, they got a picture together, so they got caught up. Like they're gonna make some connections.
I'm sure
with things like that.
I'm sure that there are pictures of Lowe and other financiers with other politicians that do not look like Prize. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, but nobody's getting charged. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just about. And again, I don't know if there's any truth in this, and he'll have his days in court, and we'll find out facts from there. But it's just messed up, man. Like if that's what's going on, I'm not a fan.
The fund, the foreign fund, the 1MDB fund. I mean that is causing a lot of other people to get caught up. You have an ex-prime minister in Malaysia. Right. I mean who's possibly going to get caught up in this. You know what I mean? Lowe's definitely getting caught up in this. So like this is a larger scandal. So like you know what I mean? We haven't read into that, so we're not sure who's getting indicted with that. But, you know what I mean?
But see, peep this though, right? So they're getting caught up, right? The Malaysian financiers are getting caught up, right? Or at least that particular organization. Prize is getting caught up. But you mean to tell me no white organization?
Nobody else here in the United States. There's got to be some.
Is getting caught up in that? That don't sound right.
It doesn't sound right.
This is all conjecture. You know what I'm saying? And just based off of my previous background knowledge of how geopolitics works. But like, you mean to tell me if Proswell from the Fugees in Malaysia, which isn't even like a super major competitor in geopolitics and political relations. Like they're in it, but rich white folk ain't. Get out of here, you know what I'm saying? Like that don't sound right to me, bro. It don't sound right to me.
Man.
But I could be 100% wrong, and I can acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying? But time will tell, I guess. Right?
Oh yeah, no time. So, you looking good? Yeah,
we're looking good, man. We actually caught back up on time. Peace to Miss Turner. That was a great restorative practice conference, by the way, Miss Turner. Peace and salutations to you. We're gonna keep it on the hip hop side again. And get into
something serious,
something really serious that's been happening recently, and in the most recent moment of it happening is with the rapper Common, one of my top 5 of all time, Common Sense. Right, he opened up about him being sexually abused when he was a kid. Told the story about traveling to Cleveland, and it was like a friend or a family member of his god brother. Like he got like sexually abused, and he just said he felt like complete and utter shame after that. He didn't really realize it until, because he did a movie that was about sexual abuse in 2018. What was that movie called? It was with the lady from Jurassic Park. The white lady.
Something
from
like Lauren. Park. Her name something
like Lauren Danver. Did I make that up? No, I think that's the woman from Captain Marvel, Danvers. What's her name? It is Laura. It is Laura though.
Okay, yeah.
It is Laura. Laura Dern. Laura Dern.
Cool.
The movie's called the movie's called The Tale, and that's about molestation and child rape.
But also, Common came out with a memoir by the name of what?
Well, he had a memoir called "One Day It All Makes Sense," named after his album. But now he's coming
Love.
Another book, which is called "Let Love Have the Last Word."
Yes, Let Love Have the Last Word. And in this memoir, he opens up about his experience with child abuse. From a family friend from a family friend of that he knew, I guess.
Right,
man.
You know what I mean? But that's just a crazy thing, man. Like, my heart goes out to anybody who's experienced that. It's just a hard thing to imagine carrying. And Common, sadly, is not the first to and I know this happens with everybody, but but it hasn't always been conversed openly, especially in the world of hip hop and with just black folks in general, because Common even talked about, like, just him being a black man, like that's not something that we talk about. And so many of us are in hip hop, so
because
it's definitely not a common thing within.
Because hip hop is so aggressive, so masculine. You know what I mean? It started off like that. Historically, it started off like that. You know what I mean? So for you to open up and talk about something that might be vulnerable, that might make you look vulnerable, etc. You know what I mean? It's kind of shunned upon. Not fully, but you know what I mean.
It's not something that you're encouraged to talk about on the mic like that. You know what I'm saying? Historically, and I think in the past, like I would argue, the past 10 years, hip hop has been a little bit more emotionally even. It's still not emotionally even by any, like, in terms of, like, at least the commercial forms of hip hop is not emotionally even in it by any stretch of the imagination. But like, it's just, there are a lot more MCs that are open about mental health than there ever have been. You know what I'm saying? I think, and while I have like this up and down relationship with my appreciation for him, I think Kanye opened that door up wide.
You think so?
I think so. Like from College Dropout on, you know what I'm saying? At least with what's commercial, like
he's kind of like unapologetically like, I don't know how to.
He's always been like emotionally open. You know what I'm saying? In a way, especially like, think about 2000. What was that when College Dropout came out? 2002.
I don't even know.
It was like 2002. It was like 2002. It was all Dipset.
That's crazy.
G-Unit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Cash Money was still going.
You're right.
Rough Riders was still going. Rockefeller. And he just came, and again, this is all the more mainstream industry cats, and he came with a whole other perspective that he kind of brought from the underground, but also married some perspective from the more commercial elements, and articulating his true emotions.
He did cross the bridge with the Underground commercial and made that connection.
He did very well.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
because of that, like a lot of Common, all these dudes, had like
Common got more
exactly
because Common was rhyming for the longest, but it wasn't until Kanye started,
Kanye
more
also
Mos Def to Talib
Kweli. No. Kanye also, God, the dude with the sitcom, Shirts Against His Blouse sitcom dude, man. You know what I'm talking about, man. Dude
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle.
Shirts the Blouse. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like those people were able to get the underground level and push them up to the commercial level.
Those are like, in some ways, like he's like a father in a really strange way. He's like the father of the woke era.
Yeah.
One of the founding fathers of the woke era. Think about,
precursor. He's like a precursor.
Yeah,
precursor.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
but to the original point, like, it wasn't like really common, but now you have cats like Logic that's really open about mental health. Actually, Scarface was ahead of all of them. Scarface was always honest.
He
about
definitely
his
opened up a few years about
that. But like it's just more commonplace. Drake,
Scarface,
Logic, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, like all these cats, they don't hesitate as much to talk about their mental health. And even Eminem has always been a little.
He's open about that, but through his music and stuff like that. He's just saying all types of wild stuff in his music and all that. And then in terms of like the sexual abuse piece, you've had more MCs talk about it, like Lecrae, who's like, some people, a lot of people know him, a lot of people don't. He's just one of those artists, like he was, faith-based Christian rapper, right? He talked about it actually on a song a couple years ago about being molested, and he talked about it on the Breakfast Club. MC Shan came out in light of the whole Africa Bambaataa accusations. He said that he got sexually abused. Who else? I'm trying to think who else off the top of my head. Who else? The African Bambaataa situation.
The African Bambaataa situation just opened it up, right?
God, it was somebody else too, but I can't really remember off the top of my head. But Common is just a long list of people that's starting to step out and open up about child abuse, etc. But I look at it like this, man. Like, you got to go back into the past. You got to go back to the 70s. You got to go back to the 80s, man. Look at their parents, man. Their parents were dealing with a lot of stress. It was disenfranchised. It was drug-ridden societies, right? You know what I mean? You talking about the Coke era. You talking about crack. You talk the crack era. Coke before that. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy, man. I know parents. I'm not gonna. I know parents that was on drugs. You know what I mean? Like, and I've seen it. Like, you know what I mean? So for that to happen, like for parents to be on drugs, there had to be a lot of carelessness within taking care of your kids, leaving your kids with people that you shouldn't leave them with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not doing background checks on the people that you have your kids around. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Things of that nature. So it was a riddled society. And it was a lot of
Kelly. That was another one. R. Kelly opened up about him being molested. As a kid by a family member. That was another one.
So it just goes to show, like, this. It had to be more than a decade of all of this going on, man. Given the fact that crack era was going on, coke was going on. He had a lot of things. What is it? Quaaludes, you know what I mean? Party drugs and all this other stuff like that. Think about it. Most of these, the early hip hoppers and stuff like that, and their parents, you know what I mean? They were going through it, man. Think about the message, the song, The Message. Look in the music video, man. It wasn't love. It wasn't. You feel me? Like,
Bronx was bombed out.
Come on, man. Think about all of that, man. So this is something that was breeded because of all of that. You know what I mean? So I look at it like that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people forget to look at their parents and what they were going through. You know what I mean? So
So,
it's sad sad to say, man, but this is what happened. I mean, this was what occurred.
And speaking on it, I mean, not even just speaking on it in public. Common has decided to go, speak on it in public and write about it in his book. But like, therapy, really looking at those moments, it's important to do in terms of like allowing healing to begin. You know what I'm saying? And so my hearts and prayers goes out to anybody who's wrestling with that, dealing with that. has had to carry that burden for years, or it recently happened to, God forbid. I really wish the best for them, and that healing is expedient and real. And with that serious note, we're at time, man.
Okay.
Thank you for everybody on Facebook Live. Yeah. Peace, Sister Tila. On Facebook Live, online, or on air that are listening to Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip hop, all culture. Catch us every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2. I said the wrong time in the last episode. I said it's like 12:30 to 1, some time that it's not, right? But 1:30 to 2, right? On 104.3 Whale FM, where you can catch us on Mixcloud. Check us out on Facebook as well, online. Peace and progress.
Yeah, peace.